Hello, my crafty lovelies. It's Pamela, and today I am doing some beading, and I just thought I would give you a shot of my desk at the moment with all my supplies out. Well, most of my supplies that I'm using for this project. What is all this, you say? Let me show you. Let me explain. I had all of these little swivel clips that I had purchased a couple of years ago and hadn't done anything with them. And I decided to make like purse charms, backpack charms, whatever you want to call them. And I was looking online and I found someone that had done what I wanted to do, what I had envisioned, pretty much exactly what I was thinking of. And I will link her video, the original video, in the description box. I cannot remember her name at the moment. I made these like 2 months ago. So anyway, I wanted to show them to you, and I just purchased these gold pins that you can bead on, and each one has like a different word. There are repeats, but you know, short words. I did not boondoggle. This is, I mean, it's similar, but this is called a Tibetan knot. And I just used a parachute cord and added some little charms to it. Then this is a little, just a piece of elastic cord that I beaded. And then there's a little chain that has some charms on it with a little bauble at the end. And then I added another big jump ring with some charms. So they're all different. There's one that says Glee, and this one is Brave. They're all different. I just took out all my charms and just went to town. So anyway, I am going to show you how I do each element, and they are very, very simple. They're mostly self-explanatory, but for somebody who hasn't done it before, you might want to know each one of the elements that I've added to here that are very similar to the video that I saw and that I will link in the description box. So without further ado, let's get going on the little tutorial, and I hope you like these. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I've got all my beads laid out and my charms kind of around the perimeter here, and obviously kind of color coded. And the first thing you're going to do is cut a piece of this stretchy elastic that you use to make bracelets with. Now this is a 1 millimeter diameter stretchy cord, but you can go smaller. I'm just using what I have. Okay, so you're going to take a split ring or a jump ring or whatever you've got or whatever you want to use, and I am just going to thread this through here and make it so it's about halfway. And obviously you can make these as long or as short as you want. My stretchy cord here is about 12 inches. I want to have enough to work with. And then I am just going to tie a knot as close to this jump ring as I can. It doesn't have to be exact. Just I want to get it, you know, close so I still have enough room to work on the string. And of course, it's always harder to do when you're on camera, right? There's one. Just pass the other one through. There we go. I'm just going to slide it up and give it a good pull so it's knotted tightly. And then I am just going to string beads on here, so you can watch, and I'll maybe speed it up so that it doesn't take as long. But I usually start with a small bead at the top, and I think I'm just going to make one that is multicolored, since I have some cute tassels that are multicolored that I'm going to use on these. So let's just get going here. Do a little bit of everything. So I start with a few smaller beads, and then I'll add a big bead or a bigger bead. And I always try and add a little element of silver or gold in it, and I like the mixed metals. It's a lot easier to do that instead of always sticking to one color, because you get them in multicolors when you buy them, right? Let's put a bright blue on here. Let's get a different shape. Try and mix up the shapes and the colors. It's kind of mindless though, you just want to keep going. Let's put a bright green. Let's put something with a little sparkle. There's a little sparkly one. Find the hole. Where'd it go? Sparkly ones are harder to find. There it is. If it's gonna fit on this one, I don't think it's gonna fit on that, so let's use this one. That's what we've got so far. Let's put a yellow. And how about a purple? And one or two, let's see. Let's put a little white. And then let's put like a little sparkly glass bead. So pretty. And then let's put another red one at the bottom. And then I am going to take one of these little beads that's open and you use to close around the cord. It's just little tiny. And I'm just going to take my pliers and squeeze really tight. That's done. And then I'm going to cut the end off, just leaving a little tiny piece at the end. So that's one side, and one side I always make a little shorter than the other. So let's start on the other side. And there's a cute bead dangle. How cute is that? Isn't that fun? And then again, you can make these as long or as short as you want. You can put them on the back of a book or on the spine or on the page edge. So that's this element, and let's go to the next one. Be right back. Okay, so the next element is a piece of chain, and it can be as big or as little diameter chain as you want. And this particular chain, each link opens. And so instead of using a jump ring and putting a jump ring through the charm and then through the link, I actually open up the link because these links are really sturdy and I know they're not going to come open. And so you don't need to see me do that, but that's how I do this. And I always put something big on the bottom and at least 3 charms. And then I may go back and add a couple more depending on how many I have left over when I finish all of them. Okay, so the next portion of, or the next element, okay, so the next element of the purse charm is the safety pin, and I got these on Amazon. I will link it in the description box, and it doesn't have the little circular piece at the bottom, so you can bead on the entire piece. And so all I do is add some of these little seed beads, or the small beads, because bigger beads will not turn that corner. And even some of the bigger beads, they're hard to get, so you might have to switch it out for one that's got a bigger hole. Like that one is kind of stuck, and it doesn't want to go around, so I'll just take it off, and I'll use something else. So we'll use this little white one. use an orange, another orange, see if we can get that to go around the corner. And let's do another yellow. And just keep going until you get around the bend, or as far as you want with these beads. Let's see, let's put on a little white one. That one does not want to go on. Let's pick a different one. There we go. Let's do another orange. That'll go. A yellow. I hope I'm on camera doing this. Oh well. It's not a big deal. Now, you can put a charm on here if you want, or not. You can just put another bead, but I'll just put the charm right on there so it hangs at the bottom. And then I will put one more bead, and then I'm going to put my word. And I got this pack of letters from Amazon. I'll link it as well. It was like $4.50 or something for all of these. And remember, when you put these on, you have to spell the word backwards if you want to be able to read it. So I'm just going to put cool. I tried to pick short words because, you know, you only have this portion that you can put these beads on, because otherwise, because they won't turn the bend there. So, and then I'll put another one here, and I may be able to get one more on. Let's see. Yep. So see, I've got just a little tiny bit, and then I will take some jewelry glue, or what is it, 300 or 3, it's the jewelry glue, and I will put a little drop on that before I put it in there, and it'll keep it from coming open. And you can even put it on, your swivel clamp first, and then glue it, and that's not going to come off. And you don't have to use a jump ring or a split ring or whatever. Okay, so put your ring on, swivel clamp, whatever, and that. So that's that one. Then let me come back for the next one. Okay, I just put some paper over my beads because I want you to be able to see this. I'm going to do a Tibetan snake knot. You can do boondoggle, you can add another element if you don't want to do this. I just think it's fun and it's something different. So this is the 550 paracord. They do have it in a micro cord, which is smaller. If you don't like the size of this one, you can do something with it in a smaller diameter cord. So you're going to take your cord, and this is about 30 inches. I want to give myself enough to work with. So 30 inches, you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to take the one on the left and pass it under the one on the right. So you've got, it's underneath, and then you're going to bring it over, making a loop on the right side here. Okay, so now you've got this, kind of looks like a bow, a sideways bow. And you're going to take this one, and you're going to bring it underneath this piece. So underneath and up, and you're going to go in that hole. And then you can pull these two pieces, and you get the first knot. So you should have something like that. Let me do that again. That's the trickiest part, and then it's super easy after that. Okay, I'll make them even. Take the one on the left, go under the one on the right, make a loop, and hold it with your thumb and your finger so there's a loop on your right side. Now take the one on the working tail on the right side and pass it underneath this tail, and you can come up between your fingers or whatever works for you and go in that hole, and then pull, and you can see this knot. Okay, Now you're going to put this piece towards the back of your hand and hold this side of the knot with your thumb and loosen this one, and it will pull from here. You'll see it, watch. See, that's getting smaller. Now, you're going to take this piece of cord and you're going to bring it and wrap it around your finger and pass it through that hole and pull tight, and then hold on to it and then pull this one, and it's going to tighten this loop. See how it did that? Then you can pull this one again to tighten it. You can go back and forth to get it as tight as you want. Now you're going to take it off your finger and you're going to flip it over. So now the loop that was on your finger is on top, and it's a tight knot, so you're just going to hold it here. Now you're going to take this, you're always going to work from the tail that's on furthest away from you. So you're going to take that tail and you're just going to repeat this step over and over till it's the length that you want. Wrap it around your finger, tuck it in that loop, pull it tight. See how I put it next to this piece? Pull it. Now pull this tail and it tightens it down. And then, like I said, you can go back and forth and tighten them. Then take it off your finger and rotate it so the loop is on top. Wrap it around your finger, put it in the loop, give it a tug, and when I pull on this one, sometimes I'll take my nail and push that part of the knot, or my thumb and push that part towards myself. So you just keep repeating this until you get to the length that you want. Okay. See how I'm putting it? It's next to this. There's 1, 2, now we're down here with the third one. Now I'm gonna pull this and kind of pull with my thumb. So I'm pulling this and moving this piece with my thumb. And then I'll give that a squeeze. And you'll just find what works for you. It's super easy once you've done maybe 2. You won't even have to pay attention to what you're doing. I just watched a movie and did a bunch of them. You just keep going. Now for this particular purse charm, I have like between 6 and 8 knots. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to keep going and tightening as I go. Super easy, right? And the boondoggle is great if you want to do the boondoggle. I think it just takes more because you've got to use 4 cords, and it just takes longer to make, make a piece when you're doing the boondoggle with 4 or more cords. That's why I liked the Tibetan snake knot. Okay, a couple more. I'm going to show you a trick at the end for the tails. I think I'll do 2 more. One. And 2. Okay, when you take your finger out, you're just going to pull that cord that's furthest away from you, and then I hold it and I pull super tight. as tight as you can. Now I'm going to cut these ends off, but you see the little nylon stuff, and you can pull it. I pull it up, and you'll see why. And I cut this off. So then when I pull this back down, I don't have the little white pieces trailing out of the bottom. And when you, I always make one longer than the other, just that's the way I do it. And I don't know if this is gonna work because I've got a fan going on overhead. Let me see if it'll work. Yes, barely. But you melt it, and now you've got a nice smooth edge, and you don't have the white sticking out on the end. Let me go back here where there's no, the fan's getting to it. And then just give it a, heat it up, just takes a second, and give it a pinch. And there is your Tibetan snake knot. How cute is that? And then I just take a jump ring and put it through here, and then onto the swivel clamp. But I will put charms on here, so let me show you how I do that. It's super easy, not a big deal. Let me get a couple jump rings so you can see. And let me move this so I can get to my charms. Okay, so I will take a jump ring and open it up. I open it up nice and wide, and you can use your, you know, tools, whatever tool you want, or you can just use your fingers. I do both, and I just slide it. See, this is why I do it with my fingers, because a lot of times it just pops off. I just slide it underneath one of the knots and just work it, and it'll pop up. Of course, eventually there it is, right there, see? And then I'll just put a charm on it. Let's grab one. Let's do this little guy. And I will just take my tools and close the jump ring. And then I'll move that jump ring so the opening is underneath the cord. So there's one. I put like 3 to 5, just depends again on how many charms I have. So now I've got a charm here. I'll kind of rotate it and put one on the back side, and I'll go down a couple of knots and put another jump ring. Come on, there we go. And let's put a number. These are cute numbers. And close it up. Then I just rotate it. Let's do another one. It really doesn't take that long to do, and of course I'm doing it slower because you're all watching and I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, but it really doesn't take that long. Some days the tools work better, and some days it works better when I use my fingers, so we're just gonna go with whatever. Let's put one of these cute shells on here. So just kind of try and go around the snake knot cord and just, you know, put them so that they're not all in the same spot. I think I want another one right here, so let's do one more. And I suppose you could try and do it while you're doing the knot, but to me that's just too much. I don't want to have to fiddle with trying to put a charm on while I'm doing the knot. Sorry, I went off camera for a second. I'm trying to get this in here. It's hard to see at the angle that I'm at. Oh, come on. It's being tough. There we go. Let's do a dragonfly. No, I've got a blue there. Let's do a little bird. Little blue bird. Okay. So there's, see, and I could even put another one here, and I may do that. Just fill it up as much or as little as you want, and then you put all your elements together on the swivel clamp. You end up with all of these beauties. How fun are these? They are just so, I think they're so adorable. Super fun. Could use them for purse charms, put on your backpack, hang it from your rear view mirror, I guess. Put it on the back of the spine of a book. They're just great fun. So let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Thanks for spending time with me. Hope you liked this. Let me know what you think. Okay? Bye, guys.